Welcome, everybody, to Samudra Shakti Online. I am so glad that you're joining us this evening. Samudra Shakti Online is brought to you by a planning team, and it's Madhuri Martin and myself, and we're both volunteers here in the United States. We have a little bit going on tonight. I'll give you a smidgen of a background. We have a full presentation from Judyth and Madhuri as well. We might have some discussion afterwards. So our Samudra Shakti Online actually originated in 2019 at a live event in the Colorado Rocky Mountains, where the Anusara yoga teachers gathered, and the Shakti, the energy, was so big that we wanted to keep it going. And so we created this online continuing education event that's been free for the past few years. And great news, we're going to be back in Estes Park, Colorado. This time our gathering is open to everyone, and it's September 17th through 20th, 2023. We sure hope you'll join us. Our teaching team is phenomenal. World-class teachers: Kat McCarthy, Chaya Spencer, Christina Sell, Christine Dufresne, Christy McKenzie, Deb Payne, Denise Stotman, Jacqueline Prete, Jay Martin, Jeannie Manchester, Judyth, who's presenting tonight, Julia Paring, myself, Lisa Long, Madhuri Martin, who's also presenting tonight, Nolene Tyrell, Rachel Dewan, John Seeley, Suzanne Zuber, Tiffany Wood, and Will Duran will all be there teaching. Now, if you are interested in our gathering in Estes Park, Colorado, grab your phone right now and hold your phone's camera up to that QR code. So you turn your phone on, you turn the camera on, and then you point the camera's viewfinder at that QR code. And what'll happen is a browser, first a question will come up like, hey, do you want to go to a browser? And it'll name whatever your regular browser is, like Google, Safari, whatever. And you just say yes. And that will take you to our Samudra Shakti event page. So you can learn more about Samudra Shakti, the live event in the Colorado Rocky Mountains this coming September 17th through 20th. So we sure would love to see you. There's early bird tickets right now through May 1st, so grab them before the price change. And now I would love to introduce you to Judyth Hill and Madhuri Martin. They are presenting tonight, and I'm going to stop my screen share and hand it off to them because they've told me they have got a full presentation.
Hello, good evening. We are so glad that you are here. And Madhuri and I have been, well, very blissfully and excitedly planning an offering for you, a little taste of what it is to work with us and work with us together. And it's incredibly much fun to work together. So welcome. And Madhuri.
Well, the title of this little mini presentation is What Does the Body Know? And it's so perfect. You know, Judyth and I have been working together for decades. And we just keep coming back, don't we, Judyth, to the same thing over and over and over again. So we'll give you a little hint, hopefully a beautiful hint about a glimpse of what we are and what we do and how we do it. And we hope to see you live at the live event, Samudra Shakti 2023 in September. I want to start this by exploring, again, one of my favorite yoga concepts that I have learned in all my decades of studying yoga. And this concept is so important. I know I repeat it. I know that people have studied with me before, I've heard it, but it's very simply this, that the universe, as it is given to us, is the enlightened being. The universe, as it's given to us, is supreme consciousness. And because of that, that is what makes yoga practicable. If it wasn't configured in this way, we couldn't practice yoga. So you're going, okay, well, Madhuri, what are you talking about here with that? And I just want to get my timer so I know. Just one second, please. Thank you. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that through our yoga practice and with this configuration, anywhere that we place our perception is divine. All what we can see there is divine. Anywhere we place our perception is this enlightened being. So if this is the situation, then in our yoga practice, what we want to really work on is the skill set around perception. How do we work on the skill set around perception? Well, what is perception? Perception is our ability to be with our senses. For our ability for our senses to sensitize to our senses, to start to move with the senses in such a way and be guided by the senses in such a way that we come to true perception. Perception in general, for most of us, is not, sometimes it's a little bit, we're seeing what we want to see and not what actually is, right? We have all these biases and patterns and history and preconceived whatever that stops us from perceiving this enlightened being of the universe. And that is one of the things we do in our yoga practice. Our yoga practice is all about, okay, let's get clear on our perception. So tonight we'll work a little bit on the senses and see if we can start to sensitize ourselves so that our biases melt away, our preconceptions melt away, our patterns and our things that keep sticking with us, they melt away, and we can start to see what is, as it's presented. So why is this so important to perceive clearly? Yoga and any spiritual practice is very concerned with the process of relationship. How to be in relationship and what is relationship. For us, we want to be in relationship with this universal enlightened being, with this universal consciousness. We want to be in relationship with the universal consciousness as that one meter, that one part of universal consciousness that we have decided to materialize as, right? And so it's that self of us being in relationship with the greater self that is also us and that we are also. So in order for us to get into relationship, we also have to go, okay, well, what's that? What's so important about relationship? How do we start that? And as we're going into this, I'm thinking, okay, well, let's start there. Let's start with relationship. Judyth and I have this brilliant, beautiful, wonderful teacher named Martin Prechtel, which is where we met maybe 30 something years ago. And he says, look, guys, if you want to live a spiritual life, you have to learn to listen. We don't listen, right? This is one of those things of perception where always we've got this like narrative going that doesn't allow us to listen and to hear what is actually being said or presented. And if you think about relationship, that's where you got to start. If you're going to be in relationship, you have to learn to listen. So we will start there too. We're going to do maybe 5-6 minutes of a pranayama practice. You can do that sitting up if that's where you want to be, or lying down. You don't have to see me to do this. You can just hear what I'm saying. And so get comfortable. Take a comfortable seat or lie down. Lying down is great, quite frankly. It's the best way to do it because it takes, that musculature attention. You can kind of drop away from needing to do that, and you can just surrender completely into this very quick, brief pranayama experience. So either take a comfortable seat or lie down, and know that you will be in that position for maybe 5 or 6 minutes. So back to where perception and relationship meet. The beginning of relationship has a lot to do with listening. My teacher, Richard Freeman, was the one who really pointed this out to me. We think about, well, so what is listening? What is deep listening? Listening is the ability for any of us to make space for what is. Not for what we want it to be, not for what we prefer it to be, but just for what is. And being able to listen in such a way that that space can reveal itself honestly and purely. So wherever you are, lying down or sitting, please just close your eyes. And we'll take a few deep breaths. The title of this SSO presentation is, What Does the Body Know? We'll start with the sound that the body makes, which is the sound of the breath. So with your eyes closed, and most of us have a lot of experience with this, slightly close the top of the throat, the glottis, the back of the mouth. Close the lips. Allow the roof of the mouth to become very dome-like, empty, spacious. And then take the breath in through the nose. Allow it to touch that closure in the back of the throat and make a soft, aspirant, whispering sound. Here is where we need both patience and curiosity. Explore the qualities of this sound that you're making at the back of the throat. Maybe even name those qualities. See if you can look at the subtlety of that sound and perceive, is it smooth? Is it slightly rattled or edgy? Is it seamless, like oil being poured from a can? Or does it have some texture that is other than smooth? What is the quality of the sound? Is it welcoming? Does it have an embrace? Or does it also have an edge? It can have an edge to it that is slightly cautious or vulnerable. See if you can name as many qualities to this sound as you can. And then soften the ears some more. Now we want to engender certain qualities to the sound. So how much can we make the inhalation, the entire inhalation, from the beginning of the inhalation through the middle of the inhalation to the end of the inhalation? How much can we make that sound consistent, steady, smooth? Can we create the essence of sound? And see if we can present that sound entirely through the entire inhalation, and then match those qualities of sound in the entire exhalation. Give that a couple of breaths. So when we feel or perceive a little bit of roughness, or like the rough edge of a piece of torn paper sort of quality, see if you can smooth that out. And then extend the breath into longer and longer threads of breath. So instead of that kind of comfortable in and out breathing, see if we can stretch the breath, smoothing this sound into long kind of taffy-like threads that stay consistently lovely for the ear to hear. The more gorgeous we can make the sound, the more inviting it becomes to our attention. When the sound becomes this tapestry of or landscape of pleasantness, what starts to happen is the mind relaxes into that landscape. It doesn't have to push or pull or move anywhere. It can just be in that landscape. When the mind relaxes, the heart opens. With the mind relaxed and the heart open, we can then move the body with the reminder of the sound, right? Throughout our yoga asana practice, the sound keeps reminding us again and again to come back to that inviting landscape in which the mind can release, the heart can open, and all the senses start tuning in to reality as it is, without those biases that convert our perception. It just sees what is. And if we keep this up in our practices, we start to develop this skill set of perception. An interest, a curiosity, and a relationship with the universal divine aspect, the enlightened being. And all of that can happen through the breath. And that's where we start. So simple. So profound. So if you're lying down on the floor, you can gently draw your knees in towards your chest. You can rock them a little bit from side to side or squeeze them into the chest and release them slightly. Whatever movement you're bringing in, can you keep the sound consistent? If we are sitting, then find a twist. Find a way to move the body while maintaining our ujjayi breath. And see if we can use the sound. Judyth said earlier today, it's like, oh, it's like using the body as a bell, Madhuri. You know, that lovely sound of, maybe you can imagine back in the old days, a church bell in a town. And if you had gone off wandering for years and years, and you come up over, you're walking back to your home after years of being away, and you hear the sound of the church bell, that sound becomes home. That's home. And you're like, oh, I'm home. It's what the breath, that ujjayi breath, should be like. A call back home. So with every asana practice, in every position, the bell of the body calls us back. And then we can open our eyes. Welcome back, everyone. Very simple practice that we can do in this short period of time, but I'd like to turn it over to Judyth to take it from here. Thank you.
Oh, Madhuri. Oh, the velvet of that breath. I'm in love. That's my new love. I learned so much from working with Madhuri. Isn't it Isn't it fantastic? Aren't we so lucky? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you didn't get to write down, as I didn't because you were laying down, laying down, you know, feel free to be jotting some of the incredibly beautiful things that Madhuri said. And now we'll begin, because here is our next adventure, our next journey into Anusara's tantric understandings that Madhuri and I and our pairing love to offer you, and will be offering at Samudra Shakti in September. So in one of his poems, Kabir says, "Student, tell me, what is God? He is the breath inside the breath." So that's where I'm going to start. In the beginning, surveying the formless chaos of inchoate matter and energy, Brahma was confused at sea. He had no idea how to make order of that disorganized, messy swirl. In desperation, he turned, there's a clue, inside himself and asked, how can I create an ordered cosmos in the midst of all this chaos? And from within him, the voice of the goddess spoke, and he heard it. And she said, through knowledge, and through knowledge will come creative action. And with that, she emerged from Brahma's mouth as the power, the creative word. She, for it was the goddess Sarasvati, she emerged riding a snow white swan, the Hamsa, and carrying the Vena. fair-skinned, glowing with a moon-like pearly radiance, throbbing with power and beauty and presence. Her being vibrated with the mantra, oh, the pranava, the most sacred of all mantras, sounds, and syllables, because oh, the pranava causes all prana to unite with the divine. It is said, or we might say, in Om, we hear, express, know, and experience that prana is in unity with the divine, is divine. So that sound that we make when we sing our Anusara incantation, we sing, that you sing, that we sing in the morning, and we sing, together we sing, and I sing, and you sing at night. Oh, you can hear it in your body right now, like the velvet, like the bell. It is the landscape, it is the land, carried on Brahma's breath, and ultimately manifested all the worlds. Oh, creating first through Sarasvati, through her Shakti, her grace, kindled and ignited back Brahma's creative wisdom and his passion to make universes. And then from her stringed instrument, from her veena, sacred mantras took form in the cosmic unformed space. And Sarasvati showed Brahma how to shape these sounds into energies that then became the fiery suns and the planets and the seas and the river and the earth, with all its cracks and crevices, all its green and its standing ones, leaping ones and swimming ones, and all the spheres within the spheres of all the spheres. And thus all the worlds were sung in, were played in music, in vibration. And ecstatically, he called her Vagdevi, the goddess of speech and sound, goddess of creative speech. Now, we lucky people, we story people, we yoga people, we Anusara people, we all understand that all the Indian goddesses are connected to creativity, because Shakti is inherently creative. That's her nature. That's the nature of Shakti. But Sarasvati is the one whose cosmic function it is to embody the creative flow through language, speech, and sound, both cosmically and personally. And through this energy, this is how we incarnate, create, and make possible. And the energy of Sarasvati in us, in all of us, is that unmistakable, you can't miss it drive that moves us when we're making beauty, speaking beautifully, teaching, gardening, cooking, dancing, laughing, playing, loving, or whatever it is that you are doing, when what you are doing is flowing, or as we say, flowing with grace. The tone of Sarasvati energy, the tone, the sensual tone of this creative energy is passionate, exciting, and clear. Like the sound of that bell of the body. To be blessed by Sarasvati is to be able to transform the world, our experience, our knowing, what we value, what we treasure, what we hold dear, through words, so that from ourselves they can be heard. There it is, the echo, right? The way we're here, the world meant to be heard by us, to make a sound, to hear a sound, the receptivity, the reciprocity that really brings everything in us alive and aligns us with the divine. In tantric understanding, The grace of the goddess is that dynamic, igniting force that arouses the powers and the juices inside us. And goddess energies connect us to our absolute most potent, delicious capacity for understanding and action. Movement as yogis on the mat, and movement as yogis in the world. And in her unique spiritual energy, Saraswati supports us in recognizing our own awakeness, our own sense of that deliciousness in the body, in our loving, in our creativity, as a very landscape of enlightenment, of the divine. That's the bliss. That's us. It's in us. It is right there for us to taste, breathe, dance, sing, move, and write. So Madhuri was talking to me today, and this was, I mean, what an experience just even planning this for you guys, right? You can imagine how extraordinary and how fun it is. And that's why, this getting to share this stuff together, it's everything. Yes, the gift isn't given until we give it. So here we are, and this reciprocity, this listening, this is the bliss right here. This is it. And for everyone in this room who teaches, you know exactly what I mean. That's it. That's it, exactly. So the japa or mantra kind of meditation, recitation, which Madhuri was just teaching, is part of many yoga practices, and it is at the very core of the tantric path. It's based on the esoteric spiritual understanding that the 50 letters of the Sanskrit alphabet are the fundamental psychocosmic spiritual energies that in their rearrangement make this universe, of this divine universe of which we are. I mean, it's almost like the language both takes it apart and holds it together. Yes. You see what I mean? Yeah. Those sounds as they combine are the huge, aware, loving, spacious, dynamic field. And those sounds, which then come up, move up through our body and then move out on our hands into paper or up through our mouth into the universe, are our recycling the divine from the divine back to the divine. And this is true. We understand this in Sanskrit. This is true in Hebrew. This is true in many languages. This is true in English. These sounds are themselves the divine sparks that make up the gigantic fire that burns in the divine and in us. So let's see, what else do I want to say about this? It's pretty fun, huh? So one of the reasons why mantras have such incredible transformative power, this speaking, this breathing, these sounds that we write, these words that we hear, these words that we say, the holy beings whose names we love to chant and sing, because even in that act, we are replicating that divine act of creation. All of these sounds themselves contain the essential goddess power of Shakti. They call upon, awaken, and draw from that transcendent energy in her dynamic relationship to transcendent consciousness, Shiva. So mantra, the spiritual practice of sound vibration, opens doors to deeper realities, often called transcendent realities, which are not outer, but inner. Well, what Tantra and Tantric understandings reveal is that these realities are outer and inner. And that's why, as yogis, we get to express them from within and back out, and within and back out through this process of the breath and the body movement in air. That's why what Madhuri just did with us was so incredibly brilliant and thrilling. So now, what I would like to do with us is I'm going to invite you all to close your eyes again, sit back and relax, and I'm going to read you a poem by Kabir. When I'm asking you just to listen to it, just let it pour into you, yeah? And then when we come back, I will put it on the screen because we're going to do some writing together so that we can use the beautiful practice of writing as that way in which we hold these gorgeous understandings that we share with each other and then give back to the world so that we can make beauty from the beauty we have just received. So sit back, relax, close your eyes if you like, don't if you like, whatever works for you. This poem is called The Pitcher. Student, do the simple purification. You know that the seed is inside the horse chestnut tree. And inside the tree, there are the blossoms of the tree and the chestnuts in the shade. So inside the human body, there is the seed, and inside the seed, there is the human body again. Fire, air, earth, water, space. If you don't want the secret one, you can't have these either. Thinkers, listen. Tell me what you know of that is not inside the soul. Take a pitcher full of water and set it down on the water. Now it has water inside and water outside. We mustn't give it a name, lest silly people start talking again about the body and the soul. If you want the truth, I'll tell you the truth. Listen to the secret sound, the real sound, which is inside you. The one no one talks of speaks the secret sound to himself. The one no one talks of speaks the secret sound to herself. And she, he, they, us are the ones that have made it all. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to take your journals and look at this poem and just write down anything that touched your heart, that spoke to you, that said something to you from this poem. Just jot it down, because we're going to be building a poetry cupboard. We're going to be building a little selection of things to drop like beautiful little exhales into our writing. Kind of give me a thumbs up when you have stuff so I can see how everybody's doing. Because I'm going to share something else with you. Everybody feel like you have some stuff? Yeah? Yeah? You guys, you can feel free to unmute yourselves and talk to me. Thank you, Miss Lisa. Appreciate it. You guys, you can unmute and talk to me. In my classes, you can talk to me. Open up. Everybody have stuff from the poem? I wouldn't mind hearing a couple things you heard in the poem.
I love the section that says, listen to the secret sound, the real sound, which is inside of you. The one no one talks of speaks the secret sound to himself. I love that.
If you was madly in love with Shiva. A great story about that, which we'll tell later. So everyone has some yummy Kabir stuff.
Judyth,
Good. Yes.
Yeah, I just love any language that comes around that helps to create that image of connectivity, the inside being out, the outside being in, and
Yes.
placing the jug in the water, and you have water out, you got water in. That's it, folks. To me, those beautiful, simple images are golden. They're just golden.
They're precious too, because when we put them into the physical world in there, we're not making a philosophical statement anymore. We're saying, look, picture, inside water, water in, water out. Got it?
Yeah, then don't give it a name. I love that too. Go
Yeah.
right to the point. Experience it, don't name it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, next. I have this new treasure of a poetry cupboard, my friends, which I'm incredibly proud of and excited by. And this is my all new verbs, 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 which I thought, oh my goodness, we're going to write as yogis. We need verbs. We're verb people. So please get yourself 7 verbs, 4 or 7. 4 for the 4th day of Omer and 7 for anything else. This was a really fun list to make.
Got him.
Yeah, everybody good? Okay. And then the fabulous, and we love this so incredibly much, the goddess poetry cupboard word list. Woo! I don't know if you can see it all. How's that? Is the view pretty good for that?
Yeah, it's doable.
I can make it bigger.
Mhm.
There we go.
Okay.
And I can scroll a little, try to get 4 to 7 words of this. Good? Yeah. Yeah. Good, everybody? Good, good, good. Next,
Yeah.
if you didn't write down anything Madhuri said, try to remember at least 2 things Madhuri said and write them down, please. Even if they're just words, don't have to be whole thoughts, just some language. Okay. Now we're going to take it a little further into the body because we're writing with our hands. Our hand is connected to our heart. Our hand is our body. Writing with our body, writing physically with the hand. I mean, to me, that's everything. I do all my writing. I write every day with my hand. And to be really honest, for myself as a poet, I wrote all my work with my hand. All my work was originally written with my hands. All my writing is done with my hand, and then it moves further. So it moves right. It moves through the body. It moves through breath. And then what I really understand most deeply about our writing is listening. Writing is us as ear. And so we're going to explore that now by a little bit of listening. Now you've got this, you have the breathing that you did and what happened to us from listening to Madhuri's beautiful words and what we experienced hearing and feeling and sensing that extraordinary velvety breath as it kind of harmoniumed inside the body. And so I'm going to ask three little questions and just jot answers using the words from your poetry cupboard and anything else that comes to you. And the first question is, what do the ears know? and wind down. And stop on a dime. What does the throat know? And wind down. And stop on a dime. And last, what does the breath know? And wind down. And stop. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we would love to hear these. Anyone who would like to read one or all of your answers would be fabulous. And ask any questions or talk about anything in the practices or what was offered today. Now is your time. Please unmute and let's talk.
What do the ears know? The golden goddess soothing our perception, the throat, teeth passing, the guarded guest to the bright cave inside.
Mm.
The breath, knowledge, to drink, to fetch, to teach.
Oh. What was the word after guarded?
The guarded guest.
The guarded guest in the bright cave inside, to fetch, to teach. Oh, and for me, when I hear writing, when I work with and any of you who've ever taken any of my classes, you know that we practice in our classes deep listening as the other half of all writing practice. So that when you write, you read, and then we echo back to you the beautiful language that we heard in your writing. So I invite you to make notes in the chat of words that you hear in each other's writing that are beautiful, because being an echo for each other's beauty is everything. It's absolutely everything. It's how we listen and it's how we're heard. So who else would like to read or say something or offer something? Yes, Juliana, hi.
Hi. So I wrote, what do the ears know? Listen to the secret sound, sacred sound, listen. What does the throat know? Ancient fire, release, heart opens, sing true feelings. What does the breath know? Whirl, release, secret sound, inhale, exhale, take in, release. Precious life given to me. My heart is the breath, goddess.
Listen, sacred, ancient fire released, whirl. What was after whirl?
World release secret sound.
And then given to me. And then what was the last line?
My heart is the breath, goddess.
I love that line. I love that
Well,
last line. That's just great.
My heart is the breath goddess. Yeah, we all heard that. Yeah, look at that. Everybody heard that line. Who else? Who else is going to read us something? Read us one of your answers, or read us a part of one of your answers. It's not finished till we give it. Yeah.
I'll read.
What the ears know, the moon weeps secrets no one speaks of.
Mm.
The throat knows the tumble of the one who has made it all, salt and ocean, silt of river. The breath knows the dream of welcome, long travelers return to their rightful home, the star map of secrets of sound and soul of the one who made it all.
Star map of secrets of soul. Oh my God. And the salt lines. Yes, Becky. Becky is the goddess of beautiful praise in the chat world. Everybody check your notes in the chat. The moon, what was the moon weeps? And then the
moon weeps secrets.
And then the tumble line.
The tumble of the one who has made it all. Salt and ocean, silt of river.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Fabulous.
It's like Shiva's Tandava, you know.
Yeah, yeah. There it is. There it is. From the left. Yeah. Who else? Somebody, yeah.
The ears.
Yeah.
Ears know us. I'm sorry. It's very scribbly. The ears know a secret sound. It flows in and out smoothly, unraveling the day's roughness. The throat with fullness of a volcano weeps. The breath, the secret one. Woman's sweet, dear. I'm sorry. Sweet, clear wisdom.
Woman's sweet, clear wisdom. What was that? Fullness of the volcano? Fullness?
The throat with fullness of a volcano weeps.
And unraveled days.
Unraveling of the day's roughness. I feel like a lot of times when something is disturbing a person, they do feel it right in their throat immediately. So I think that's why I wrote it that way.
Yeah, yeah. I think volcano.
But the breath is the great eraser.
What was the secret? It's at the very end with the breath, the secret.
The breath,
something?
the secret one.
The secret one.
Woman's sweet, clear wisdom.
I love that.
Something like that.
Love that. And it made me think again of what Will wrote, which is that's right. It's like the throat is like the guardian in the gate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's both. It's the yes and the no. It's the yes and the no for us. And you realize, guys, what we all just did was literally, we wrote like a minute and 20 seconds kind of thing. That's what happened in a minute and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you think about writing practice, adding this, come off the mat, and then, within 5 minutes, think of what you could write. So, okay, 3 minutes, even 3 minutes, just what did the body tell you while you were on the mat? What is the body saying? What did you hear? What did the body say to you? Because the body knows, and every day it's telling you something. And it's a marvelous thing to articulate it. And for anyone who's a teacher, I mean, that's part of our whole process of articulating what the body knows from our body to other body back to our body. So the more we listen to what our body is saying to us, the more exact, beautiful, delicate, and intimately we can express how we want bodies to move in our rooms. Right. I mean, the truth is, I always said to Madhuri, when we first started working together, we don't put people into asanas physically. We don't walk around the room. We're not chiropractors. That's not what you guys are doing. we move everyone through words. Like Sarasvati, we're singing everything in. That's what we're doing in these rooms. So these practices are just deep and part, and the opportunity for me as a writer to work with Madhuri and to work with you guys, it's everything. I mean, it's just everything. And I love it and adore it. But I feel like our work rhymes. Our work rhymes. Yeah.
Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you all so much for your attendance and your attention. Judyth and I kind of come into this thing of creating space and then filling the space, creating nothingness or the unseen, and then translating the unseen so that we can see it. And then as we start looking and seeing and spacious and creating in this way, it becomes absolutely celebratory and delightful. As we're taught in Tantra, the universe is really bliss. It is the dance of bliss. So please come and dance bliss with us at Samudra Shakti in September. And we hope to see you there. Judyth?
Tejase. Well, I used to say to Madhuri, sing me the Tejase song.
And we'll sing the Tejase song.
Before I knew it, I was like, Tejase song. That's it. That's us.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody. Good night.